This is the INKPULP podcast. This is the INKPULP podcast. Comics, hip hop, life. Welcome back to the INKPULP podcast. I'm your host, Sean Crystal. These are shorter episodes. These are shorter intros. But I am going to have full episodes of me rambling off because I know you all are fans of it and because I can't help myself sometimes. Today is a strange one. Today's an art demonstration of me inking an MF Doom mask. Rest in peace to the god. But I'm inking it with ink wash on a material known as Yupo. This is a very strange surface to work on because it is plastic, it is non-porous, and things just sit on top. And it's kind of a clusterfuck. I went in thinking it was going to work like I was going to work like I do when I paint, and I very quickly was humbled by the medium, the material, as it told me, no, Sean, you're not going to do that. So I think this is an important episode to pay attention to because normally at this point when you start something and it is not going at all the way you intended in your mind, that is when fear kicks in and you back away. But I think the important thing here is I didn't let fear win. And I was like, oh, okay, you are my teacher now. I will follow your lead, Yupo. And I did, and I learned a ton from it. And I'm going to do more, and I'm going to film more episodes with Yupo eventually. So let's see how that goes. But it's a strange material. Y-U-P-O. Yupo. Check it out. I highly recommend it because it's so awkward. It just kind of strips you of all your fancy tricks, of all of your techniques, all of these comfortable things we do as artists that allow us to kind of show off and shine. It takes that away, and it just allows you to be who you are, the artist brain that you have, and use it to figure it out, which is what I did. And in the end, I was happy with it. So that's about it. INKPULP Instruction, if you haven't checked it out, link is in the comments. Link is on my YouTube page. Link is all over my social media at INKPULP. Check it. And click the website. When you go there, you'll see there's an area to sign up for a newsletter, which will be an All Things INKPULP newsletter, but also you'll get a free mini lesson. It'll give you a taste of what INKPULP Instruction is all about, how it works, what it's like. I hope this podcast does that as well. I hope you join me on this journey of art education through INKPULP Instruction. And that's it. I'm going to shut up now. Enjoy. Peace. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the INKPULP podcast. I apologize if the heater is making noise in the background. I think we're good. So today... this is an interesting experiment. So I've got an MF Doom mask. When MF Doom passed away, I felt the need to do a series of homage pieces to his mask and his legacy. So I am painting on Yupo, or doing ink wash on Yupo. And this is plastic, and you can see the amount of resist I'm getting. So my initial approach was like I normally do, lay down a lot of water and then create a wash. Now, what I didn't realize was by laying down a lot of water, I was basically allowing the plastic to resist everything. So this is an interesting process we have here. And you can see me just adding more and more ink, and it just beads up, and it just beads up. So as I'm going here, I'm starting to figure out, like, okay, that's not going to work the way I intended. Yupo is a wild animal. I'm just going to let it do its thing. So now I'm working in an area where there wasn't a ton of water. And you can see I'm getting some better coverage. And at this point, I am saying to myself, let's just ride this out. let the teacher teach me, and the teacher being this strange and foreign material I'm painting on called Yupo, which is plastic. I know I've said it, but it's painting on plastic is a strange thing. And this is ink wash. This is just, you can see in the white tray in the upper left hand corner, I have 3 different concentrations or mixtures of ink and water, so it's like 3 different values I'm using. And right now I'm just trying to get down an initial value of where the darks are going to lie, and then I'll build on top of that as we go. I started off with a much bigger brush. I'm working down to a smaller brush because I'm getting into some more detailed areas. And I didn't pencil out much. It's a very simple shape, and if you watch my inking Batman video, I do talk about trying to train myself to just trust myself, basically, and create more and more decisions in the inking process. So here I'm lost in the woods with Yupo, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna trust myself, and we'll see where this goes. There's certainly some interesting shit happening here. And you can see, like, it just bleeds, it spreads, and I'm trying to figure out how dark I want to get, how dark will allow me to get in doing this. And when all is said and done, I was happy with the result, and I was happy with the journey of getting there. I am very curious to figure out what I could do with color and paint on this. It's such a strange material. The results are very unique looking. I see Karan Grant doing this a lot. Karan's a brilliant artist who I know. If you're not following him on social media, it's Keron, last name Grant, Grant. He's just an extremely brilliant artist, and he does a lot on Yupo, and he gets great results. So now you can see I'm able to start to pull the darks in, and just working with the wet, it allows like this oil stain look, I guess is the best way to put it, like an oil stain in the street, where you get concentrations of thicker values and thinner, and you're not really controlling it. You're just letting it do its thing. And you see me pausing to evaluate the situation a lot, like I am right here, trying to figure out what the fuck am I doing. See how it beads up on the nose right there? It's a tricky medium. I highly recommend everyone doing this because it's so uncomfortable. I think it's important to get uncomfortable. So now that the paper is a little drier, I'm trying to get the wash to work a little better. And in some areas it is, and in some I'm still getting a ton of resist. Now, that resist could be the oils of my skin, because my arm rests there as I'm working, just sitting on top of the plastic. Paper will absorb that shit, and when paper absorbs it, it doesn't create an issue. I mean, you can't use a water-based medium on top of something oil, and you see, it's just not going to work, Sean. You can keep trying, Sean. Try it again. Go ahead. Oh, you stopped. Look at it. Look at the... Yeah, okay. Here I am coming back to it after that section had dried. Now I'm using a different brush. I'm using a flat. Flat holds less water. Ooh, that was a neat little, like, pulling away. So I thought I'd try a flat to lay in a very light wash on top of the work I've done, so that there's not so much white in the mask. I think at this point I was like, maybe since I'm getting so much resistance in the background, I need to make the mask dark, and then the white of the background will define that. Because if you have a really dark background and a really dark mask, it's going to be hard to read. And if you follow around on my Instagram live at all, you saw me do a painting of this mask, and I'm about to do a traditionally ink drawing of the mask next, which I will film and we will watch. But the idea is on the right hand side, that little like bubble coming off his head, that's just where I want the light to shimmer and kind of break the form. I want it to bleach the form there. So now I'm using a little bit of a darker one. The mask is very planometric, like it has hard edges everywhere. So I'm using the flat brush to render that with, and I'm evaluating again. So you can see the white area of the mask has its role. And here I am. This is a neat thing to do too, is when you have a lot of water down, just let the paint kind of drip and move around, and I'm just letting it do its thing. This still isn't going to work, Sean. That area does not like you. It's not going to give you what you want. I'm not going to give up, though. I think every time I pass over it, though, I'm getting more and more coverage because the polymer in the inks is adhering to the polymer that's down. And here I am just trying to dab to see what that does. It's just resisting so much. So much. But yeah. You can see off to the side that, like, I really just want that white to shine, and I can't. I think here I'm trying to dry it. I'm blowing on it, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. All right, next day I'm back. Here we are. Boom, boom, boom. It's dry now. Look I got so much more coverage. So much more coverage on that side. Now the white is really starting to pop. And that's what I really wanted, was that light to really shine. Now I've gone down to my traditional inking brush. It's a little larger than I normally ink with, but it's a Raphael 8404. I believe that's a size 6. So it's larger than I would ink with, but this is more of a painterly technique, and it's a very simple shape, so there's a lot of coverage needed. So I'm just working with it at this point. Trying to build the chrome look, trying to let it in. You can see the dry ink really has a nice touch on top of the paper. It almost looks like a film negative. A processed film, like a developed film paper. And coming from a background in photography as well as illustration, I enjoyed that bit of it. And here I'm deciding what white should really shine through in the end. And here I am using white ink. Okay? Now, what I'm doing this for is the white ink sitting on top of the dark will be so opaque, and it'll give it that shine and that shimmer. And I'm also able to do some corrective work in it, which is interesting too. Here I am really wanting to let that light come off the mask so the mask doesn't define it, like the white just bleaches the form in that area, which is something I play with a lot. So that was me touching with the white, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to figure out where I went with this next. I did this a while ago. So right now I'm masking off areas with paper, which means I'm about to spray some white ink. Yep, there's the white ink. Let's get the toothbrush. Oh, yep, there it is. Toothbrush time. So now get a little bit of water in there, spread the toothbrush around, flick it around. I really want this, and I did this on the painting too. I just wanted the white to really just explode off of there and give it texture, but also like direction. That was, you see, I'm really trying to save this at this point. But I know if I let it dry, I'll come back on top with black just like I am right now, and bada bing, bada boom, I'll be good to go. Get the other eye so they both have the same level of darkness, and that was the end. I guess I hit stop too early. Thank you again for watching the INKPULP podcast. I highly recommend painting with Yupo. It is not comfortable, but it will teach you. This is the INKPULP podcast. This is the INKPULP podcast. Comics, hip hop, life.